everybody, this is Sanya in southern China, where later this year 30 of the world's mightiest individuals will be competing in the world's strongest man competition. Booking a place among those 30 is not easy. They need to be won places at the Giants Live qualifying tour, the first stop in which we bring you today from way across the Pacific in Melbourne, Australia, where 3 spots of the finals are up for grabs, and among the contenders for them, Englishman Jack McIntosh, who's looking to appear in his 3rd World's Strongest Man competition. Melbourne is one of the most sports-mad cities on earth. It's hosted both the Olympics and Commonwealth Games, and the Formula One Grand Prix is now an annual event. 25,000 fans flocked to the FitX Fitness Expo at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre to see 15 different strength sports, from supersized bodybuilders to fitness models to arm wrestling, all under one roof. We're here for the Giants Live qualifying tour with, for contestants from the region, the added zing of the Southern Hemisphere's Strongest Man title being up for grabs. To find out more about the contenders, it's over to Colin Bryce, and first up, Paul Dickinson.
Thanks very much, James. We're going to meet the competitors now. First up, Jack McIntosh from England, 2nd at Giants Live in Hungary last year. Tristan O'Brien from South Africa's strongest man in 2012. Then comes Jordan Steffens, 2nd at Australia's strongest man last year. Mark Wells, he was 3rd in that contest. Gerard van Staden is next, 2nd at the Southern Hemisphere strongest man last year. Robert Kilpatrick, he was 4th at Australia's strongest man in 2012. Frankie Skeen, South African, Southern Hemisphere strongest man last year. Warwick Brent, also of Australia, 4th at Giants Live in Finland in 2012. Lars Råbacken, 7 times Nordic arm wrestling champion. Eben LaRue, he competed in World's Strongest Man competition in 2012. Then Americans, first of all Nick Best, 6th in the World's Strongest Man final in 2010. And finally Derek Poundstone, the American was 2nd at World's Strongest Man finals back in 2008. So the 2 favourites last up, we caught up with them yesterday.
My name is Nick Best. I'm 44 years old. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am here to win. I feel very blessed to be able to do this sport at this age. I definitely have a screw loose somewhere for deciding to start a career at 41 years of age in the world of strongman. But I saw it on TV and thought, I want to do this, and I went out and did it. And you know what? I still want to win it. And part of the song in the line, it says, I'm not as good as I used to be, but just one time, I'm as good as I ever was. At this level, you can't miss by a little bit, but I might not be as good as I once was, but just one time, I'm as good as I ever was. Poundstone, as always, I'm completely and utterly amazed at everything that guy does. He is probably one of the fiercest competitors I've ever seen in my entire life. He can be hurt and dragging himself in on one leg and can still win.
Derek Poundstone. I'm a police sergeant in Naugatuck, Connecticut. 6'1", 330 pounds, 5-time World's Strongest Man competitor, 4-time finalist. I'm known for being a guy that sort of fights through it. I got to do what I always do, and hopped on a 25-hour flight basically, and it's just been a crazy trip. But I'm here, tired, but I want to kick some ass. I haven't done this poorly in my career since, I don't think I've ever done this poorly, where I had a bad year end of last year after nearly winning the Arnold Classic. It's just, I'm due. I can't have any more bad luck, so I want to go out here, torn bicep and all, and redemption.
You know, I might be 44, but boys, I ain't done till I said I'm done.
So this is the first event, and it is the Farmer's Walk, a classic test of strength at any strongman competition. Now, what they're going to do is pick these 165-kilogram implements up. There's 2 of them. Run them 15 meters up a course, drop them, and then run back 15 meters. They have 75 seconds in which to complete the task. It's a real test of grip strength and overall body power.
Well, we heard earlier just what the Americans thought of this competition. Nick Best, the oldest man in the competition, up against Eben LaRue, World's Strongest Man competitor, of course, last year. So a tough start for Nick Best. So here we go, and balance is going to be a big problem here, Colin.
It is, yeah. It's very difficult. It's so heavy. Try and keep him away from your legs as you're running. And Best's got a bit of an injury in one of his shoulders. He's just in the lead.
But it's Nick Best away first. Even LaRue's got some catching up to do. Nick Best, though, is flying and goes tumbling over. That was a big fall there. Even LaRue finishes. It's around about 19 seconds for Best. 22 seconds or thereabouts for even LaRue. But Nick Best, oh, can he recover from this? Even LaRue's got tons of energy. Good start for both men. But Nick Best is in serious trouble here, Colin.
Yeah, he damaged his shoulder before the event. Let's hope he's okay.
Among some of the other competitors, we saw Tristan O'Brien go out to 42 seconds, so a slow start for him. Jordan Steffens, on the other hand, completed 18.5 meters. Gerard van Staten, 21.22, a good time for him. Mark Wells, just over 11 meters, couldn't complete the course. Neither could Robert Kilpatrick. He was worse, 9.6 meters. Frankie Skeen, 42.28, and still Nick Best in the lead.
Nick, 19.91. You are the leader. Congratulations.
I don't know how I just did that, but okay.
Yeah, look, dangerous as anything, though. What was the dive all about?
Trying to finish, so I figured I'd dive for the finish line, not realizing I had about 370 in each hand. Not a good idea. Don't do that at home.
Did you injure yourself anywhere? So I know your shoulder's gone out in the warm-up.
Easy. Yeah, it hurts. It's a side delt, so we'll see how the overhead pressing goes. I still might be able to do that, but it hurts when I pick stuff up off the ground, but we'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Norway's Lars.
Lots of support here for all these men. Lars Råbracken, 7 times the Nordic arm wrestling champion, could find this one tough. Warwick Brandt, on the other hand, he's very experienced at these strongman competitions, but what a target has been set by Nick Best. So Warwick closest to the camera. Both of them get away well here, and Warwick Brandt is the one who's leading at the moment.
Yeah, he's also desperate to show he's Australia's #1. Råbracken goes down. That's a surprise. The arm wrestler's got a great grip.
Well, Warwick Brandt has finished 1 lap already. Råbracken just turning round, trying to make headway down the 2nd lap. Warwick Brandt just come to a grinding halt at the moment. The grip is the problem.
It is, yeah. They're just so heavy. Well, certainly neither are going to trouble Nick Best time at 19 seconds.
Whoops, one of the weights has fallen off. It's got to be back on and complete. Now, concentration for this last lift. So important for Warwick Brandt. The Australian gets it up and crosses the line. That's just outside 49 seconds. And Råbracken, I don't think he's got what it takes to finish this, my goodness. 18.05 meters, his overall distance, but certainly the Australian has won this one. That's not a bad time, but compared to Nick Best's time, 19.91. Well, the crowd certainly enthralled as to the difficulty of this competition. Really is a packed audience, and that's brilliant for all these guys. So what has Derek Poundstone got? What a standard that's been set by Nick Best. His fellow American up against Jack McIntosh. 2nd at Giants Live last year in Hungary. So Poundstone on the far side, McIntosh closest to the camera. Just wonder if Poundstone's body is going to hold together. Look at him go. This is quick.
Well, he's got that bicep injury he's carrying from a couple of weeks ago, but that's exceptionally quick. 9 seconds at the halfway.
Oh, he's absolutely tearing this course up, Colin. Poundstone, so quick, and a good time for McIntosh, too. 16.09 for the American. McIntosh, 17.53, goes into 2nd place.
Great effort, guys. 19 seconds to beat. You did 16 seconds, Derek. You look extremely unhappy. What's wrong? Is that you hurting? You okay?
I love it. It's part of it's part of the game. Thanks. I heard you guys cheering. I had the best opponent, Jack. I told him to push me, and I was hoping to stay behind him actually. But once I went out ahead, I know he'd finish strong. So I can't complain. Just trying to really try not to get injured, but it's hard with a crowd like this. Plus, I'm a little delusional for not sleeping. So,
mate, you look like you're in some pain there. You okay there? Your face is, or was it just the heat of the battle?
No, I'm fine. Feels good. Thanks.
Okay, good. And listen, well done. You're the winner of that event. 16 seconds. I don't think anyone expected it that quick. So, especially not a man who's completely jet lagged. So, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Nick Best putting in a big performance earlier on despite his injury, but a tremendous battle in the final pair. Poundstone just taking the win over the Englishman.
Jack, just over 17 seconds gives you second place there.
I'm happy with that. It's a good start, yeah. Needed to get one of my favourite events and go against Derek, who's I know was quick in the past, so happy to come second behind him anyways.
I mean, Derek's jet propelled at this kind of event, so you must be thrilled with that.
Yeah, very happy with that. Yeah, gives me a good start for the rest of the events.
After the break, we're back at the FitX Fitness Expo for a contest of shoulder pressing power. It's not been a great type of event this for McIntosh in the past, but he's put in a lot of homework recently and will hope to match the big Americans. See you for that then in a couple of minutes from Giants Live in Melbourne. Giants Live in Melbourne, Australia. We're at the exhibition centre, where conditions for competitors look extra harsh.
Welcome back to FitX. We love the strongmen. Woo!
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
15 different strength sports featured at the FitX Fitness Expo, but for our strongmen, it's not about looking good, it's about getting the job done. And to hear what their next task is, let's rejoin Colin Bryce.
Our next event is a test of overhead strength. First up, you've got to pick this axle up and press it overhead. It weighs 140 kilos, 300 pounds. Then we go on to the 155 kilo log up and overhead. Implement number 4 is this dumbbell weighing 95 kilograms. Look at the size of it. Getting it up to your shoulders, you can use 2 hands, then 1 hand overhead. Final event, this keg full of concrete. It weighs 127 kilos, and locking out both elbows is really tricky.
First of all, Lars Rawbracken, he only managed 1 in just over 6 seconds. Robert Kilpatrick managed 1 too in 11.74. Mark Walls went into the lead early doors. 3 objects, 44 seconds plus. Then Jordan Steffens, he too found it difficult. Evan LaRue ran about the same time, but only 1 object above his head. Tristan O'Brien managed 4 altogether in 42 seconds. Warwick Brandt a little bit slower, but those 2 men well ahead of everybody. Then Gerard van Staten, 4 objects, 39.64. Frankie Skeen, he was a little bit quicker, 4 objects in 30.96. So Nick Best of the USA is up next. 44 years old, but very, very strong in the shoulders. But, and there is a big but here, what about this deltoid problem he's got? That could affect him. Well, that was good. On to the next object. The log lift. And so far, Colin, not too much sign that there's a problem with his shoulder.
Now he's using his legs very well. Just struggles a bit there to lock that out. Now, will he use his right arm here? Yes, he does. It is his better arm.
That's good. The clock is ticking away, though. And this 127 kilo keg could present him with all sorts of problems. And that left arm is giving him a lot of problems. Well, he's outside the leading time so far, held by Frankie Skeen. Can Nick Best get this up? Yes, he can.
Great effort, Nick Best.
So not bad at all. Nick Best, 4 objects. Looks a little bit apologetic for that effort, but it was good. So Jack McIntosh now from Kirby Stephen up in Cumbria. Had a good first event. So coming into this overhead medley now, if you can get a good performance here, he really is in with a shout. Here we go. A little bit off balance, but so far so good.
Yeah, that was very quick in the second stage. Now this log, he's not so good at the log. Ooh, struggles to get it up to his shoulders.
Well, he is struggling here, without a doubt. Now, come on. Just can't do it. It's got to be a stronger drive from the legs, and he's not getting that at all. What a disappointment for Jack McIntosh.
Got to remember, it's 155 kilos. That's a huge effort on its own. Already a little tired from that first axle. Perhaps he rushed the first implement a bit now. He's not even getting it to his chest now.
The only consolation is that first object, the axle, was up in double quick time, so he won't be as far down the leaderboard at the end of this as we thought he might be. So Jack McIntosh, only one object up in 3.99 seconds.
I think it's fair to say that second implement's probably the hardest of all four, actually. Let's see how Derek gets on with it.
So Derek Poundstone really has been a great advocate of all these strongman events over the years. Good position. Here we go. The American gets things underway. Oh, that rockets up into the air. Now then, this is what gave Jack McIntosh problems, and that's a good drive. Derek Poundstone is absolutely flying here.
But he's brilliant at the dumbbell. This shouldn't be a problem. He could do 30 kilos more at that. So, can he take the victory?
If he can get this up first time, he just pushes it above his head. Oh, my goodness. 27.45. Absolutely fabulous.
Well done, Ted. Of course.
No, very. That my arm's holding up a lot better than I thought. It was really hurting during the first event. The axle clean was what bothered the most. Staying warmed up, I'm very pleased. This is coming together nicely. I got to thank the crowd. You guys are great. I want to come to Australia more often. One of the best crowds. So thank you, guys. We love you.
Great effort by Derek Poundstone, one of 6 men to do all 4 implements. The South African Frankie Skeen taking second, Jack McIntosh of England a disappointing 8th. So Poundstone's won 2 out of 2, upping his score to 24 points. Van Staden second on 19 points, leading the charge for the Southern Hemisphere title. Back to Colin now.
Event 3 here at the FedEx is the Super Yoke and Barrel Medley. You have to pick these Super Yokes that weigh 1,000 pounds, 450 kilograms up, and carry them 15 meters. Then you have to pick that 120 kilogram barrel up and run it back 15 meters. 75 seconds to do it, and it's going to blow your legs and your hamstrings out.
The first big man up was Gerard van Staten, 30.50 for him. Then Tristan O'Brien, 14.9 meters. Lars Rohrbracken, he couldn't complete the course either, 24.2 meters. So everybody getting the course ready for our next competitors, and the spectators looking fascinated to see what Warwick Brandt can do. He's well known in strongman circles in Australia. Nick Best doesn't appear to have suffered any problems from the first event earlier on today. Both men determined, both men strong. Which is the super strong man, though. Nick Best it is who gets away first.
Yeah, he's just in the lead, coming up to the halfway point. Now, who can do the quicker turnaround?
Well, those weights are bouncing around, but it's all about the barrel now. Oh, look at that. What a finish. Nick Best, 19.75, but what was Warwick Brandt's time? Well, Warwick's time has just come up, 18.32. He goes into the lead. Thumbs up from Nick Best. But he's got his fellow American Derek Poundstone on the course, ready to go, raring to go, I would say. And Frankie Skeen, the big South African, he's raring to go as well. The spectators totally nonplussed by this event. But this is
a tremendous athlete. He's quick away in the super yoke. Now, it's all down to the barrel. Warwick Brant was unbelievable. Threw his whole body at this.
But Derek Poundstone is absolutely flying here, Colin. Look at this. This is quick. Maybe a little bit of pain there.
Yeah, he's suffering from that biceps injury. Obviously hurt him there. Now Frankie's going to finish this off around about the 30-second mark. Much, much slower than the top guys. And that's surprising because he's a good athlete.
Well, he's shaking his head there. Wasn't happy with 31.72.
Warwick Brant, 18.32 seconds. Derek Poundstone, 18.31. You won by 100th of a second, Derek. How do you do it, man? Let's hear it for Derek Poundstone.
I'm sorry, Warwick. Usually, I'm always on the tail end of those close calls. I can remember the Arnold Classic last year. I lost the $55,000 purse by 100th of a second, so I'm sorry, Warwick. I've been on the receiving end of that a few times, but I came here kind of off, and I've had a really rough couple years. And you guys are seeing sort of the rebirth of me as an athlete. I'm angry and I want to win. I'm tired of losing. So you're seeing quite a show here, and I'm just getting started.
Derek Poundstone looking as fierce a competitor as ever. Yet another win for the American, though it is by the tightest of margins this time, just 100th of a second ahead of Brand. McIntosh is 9th place, seeing him slip to 6th in the overall rankings, where Derek Poundstone is the runaway leader on a maximum 36 points. More amazing feats of power and skill await at the FitX Fitness Expo, and when we come back from the break, we'll be moving from the exhibition hall to the auditorium as our athletes indulge in a spot of powerlifting. Welcome back to Giants Live, the official World's Strongest Man qualifying tour at the FitX Fitness Expo at the Melbourne Exhibition Hall, where it's not just our strongmen on show. The Expo is also one of the jewels of the crown of the IFBB bodybuilding scene. Men and women dazzling the crowds here in Melbourne. But time now for our strength giants to jump back into action. Over to Colin Bryce to tell us more about our next event.
Event number 4, we're here in the auditorium, and it's 350 kilograms for repetitions. The guys will strap onto this extra thick bar and pull up for 60 seconds. An unbelievable amount would be 10 reps, and the best guys need it.
Well, among some of the early starters, we saw Lars Råbracken failed to lift 1 repetition. Tristan O'Brien, on the other hand, got 4, not a bad effort at all. That was equaled by Mark Wells, also 4. Then came Evan LaRue, who stormed into the lead with 6. Gerard van Staten got 5, almost got 6, but just failed it. Frankie Skeen zoomed into the lead then, 8 repetitions for the big South African. A packed auditorium is watching this. And we're going to see now whether Jack McIntosh can go past 8 repetitions. It would be a magnificent performance. He's up against Robert Kilpatrick. And that really is a very thick bar. That hampers the grip. But here we go. That's 1 for Jack. Well, Kilpatrick needs this because he's down in last place at the moment on 5 points only. Jack McIntosh gets 2. Looking good at the moment for the Briton. And looks capable of doing a lot more. Kilpatrick has yet to get his first repetition off the ground.
Well, it helps when you've got arms as long as McIntosh. Look at this. Despite being an incredibly tall man, he only has a 1-foot movement. 6 reps, he's zoning in on Skeen's 8 reps.
Well, McIntosh down in 6th place as well. He's accumulated a lot of points, and Kilpatrick, I feel, is finished. 8 repetitions. So Frankie Skeen's lead may be short-lived now. Come on, Jack.
Under 10 seconds to go. Well, I don't think he was given it. I think they were saying he didn't lock out properly.
Oh, what a shame. That was a tremendous performance by McIntosh. Robert Kilpatrick, well beaten.
Let's have a look back at this. One of the earlier reps. Certainly locked out, no problem there.
So here we go. Nick Best, one of his strongest events. Up against Jordan Steffens. An incredibly determined young man. So here we go. Nick Best, as far as deadlift is concerned, is so strong. Jordan Steffens taking his time to even contemplate lifting that one.
Well, Nick Best set the place on fire last year when he did 12 reps for a new world record in this, the 350 kilos. Look at the way he just keeps it taut at the bottom, trying to keep his body in position all the time.
This to draw level, which he does easily. 9's got to be coming now. Yes, we have a new leader. Nick Best is just going on and on and on. This is fabulous. And this one now, Colin, to equal what he did last year.
He's done it, no problem. He's still got 15 seconds to go. Come on, Nick.
Well, Jordan Steffens, I think we can safely say, is not going to lift this. Nick Best has been given the extra one, 13 repetitions. That's got to be some sort of record. And Best so psyched up at the end. A truly phenomenal performance. Well, Derek Poundstone, realistically, the only man who could beat this, but can he? That was remarkable.
Numbers just an age, but so is breaking your own record.
It feels great. It really does. I love coming to Australia. Thank you guys so much. I'll come back to Melbourne anytime you guys want.
So the crowd absolutely loving this. And they're going to see something special in a moment. The overall leader, Derek Poundstone, one of the last men to go. He's up against Warwick Brandt, the local favourite. And he looks set. Derek Poundstone getting ready. That really thick bar, still difficult to grip, no matter how big and strong you are. But Brandt gets away well, too.
Yeah, he's actually into the lead here. He's a good powerlifter, Brandt. He's won Australian powerlifting championships before, but I don't think he's in the league of Poundstone or Best. This will be fascinating to see whether Derek can match Best, the former powerlifting world champion, at his own event.
But Derek Poundstone was behind Brandt earlier, but he's just so consistent. He just keeps on grinding these repetitions out. Doesn't use his legs an awful lot, but his back is phenomenally strong.
Amazing, really. He broke a few discs in his back a couple of years ago, in fact 7 or 8 years ago now, but he's managed to recover incredibly well. 10 reps to 6 at the moment.
Now Poundstone within 2 of Nick Best, and there is number 12. He's got a chance, you know. There's not long to go, though. The clock could beat him. Brandt's done well on 7, and that is it. It was so close in the end. Nick Best will win it, and he gains 1 more point over Derek Poundstone in the overall standings, and Warwick Brandt has done well too.
What a phenomenal job. Well done, Warwick. Derek, let me grab you before you wander off stage. 12 reps. You let the old man beat you.
Never. You know, he's got me by a couple years, and nothing worse than tying a good friend, so maybe I gave it to him, maybe I didn't, I don't know. It's up for you to decide, but it's been a rough competition thus far, but the audience has been great. You guys have been awesome. I've been saying it from this morning. Thank you, Australia. You guys rock.
Whether Poundstone did his compatriot a favour or not, former world powerlifting champion Nick Best sets a new world record there with 13 reps with 350, winning his best event. Jack McIntosh finishing 3rd. That means that the Englishman picks up some crucial points. He's still 6th overall, but now just 4 points off a qualifying place. Poundstone with an almost unassailable lead at the top. 2 events to go.
Penultimate event is the Atlas Stone. Singular. You have to lift this stone, 140 kilograms, over 300 pounds, to your shoulder for repetitions in 60 seconds.
Well, Robert Kilpatrick lifted it once, he got us underway. Jordan Steffens got 2. So the early leader in this event. Mark Wells, on the other hand, he went to 4. So that was quite a big lead for him. And then Tristan O'Brien went even better, 6 reps in total. Even LaRue equaled it. Good effort from him. Gerard van Staten, 4 reps. Struggled a little bit. Warwick Brandt looking better and better. He goes to 7. Well, there is a chance for Jack McIntosh to qualify as one of the top 3, but really it's got to come from this event. He's got 29 points altogether. He's chasing at least 33. That's 4 ahead of him, and that could be a problem. It looks as though Nick Best and Derek Poundstone are way, way ahead of everybody, but, you know, we shouldn't count Jack McIntosh out, should we?
No, he needs to put in a sterling performance here. He's done 4 in under 30 seconds. He must get 8 reps here, and then hope that the likes of Best and Poundstone don't do so well.
Well, this ball is being rolled up onto his shoulder. Looks as though he could go on forever. Maybe it's just that last bit is getting a little bit tired. But this is a phenomenal weight. It weighs over 300 pounds. The sticky stuff on his arms just to help with grip, which is always a problem in this event.
And he's run out of time. He didn't get that last repetition, 6, so he's 1 behind the leader.
Well, Frankie Skeen, he's a man in form, as we've seen from the last 2 events in particular. He's got a great chance of qualifying.
Yeah, and I guess for him as well, he's got a very good chance of holding on to that Southern Hemisphere's title. He's got to try and stay ahead of Warwick Brandt, the Australian, who's really threatening him for it.
He's quite deceptive, isn't he? He's quite tall, weighs over 300 pounds. That's well over 20 stones. But when you look at him, you think, well, you know, where's all that weight coming from?
Yeah, I mean, he's just so well built. It's so well put together. Actually, for a strong man, he's really not that heavy anymore.
This is where it's going to get hard. He's chasing the repetitions. He's got to go above 6. He must go above 6. There are at least 2 men who've got 6 reps at the moment. He won't want to share the points, and that is 7.
5 seconds, 4. He's going to run out of time.
7 reps altogether for Frankie Skeen, and that is equal first place for the South African.
Frankie, it's not just about getting on the podium. Southern Hemisphere title on the line. You hold that title. You managed to equal Warwick Brandt there. A little more time. Do you think you'd have done much more?
Yeah, I think if you gave a minute and a half, a guy could probably get to 10. But in the allowed time, that 7 is good.
Yeah, that's very true. 7 is very good, and that's what Derek Poundstone has to beat now. I don't think there's any doubt about him going through to the final. He's been so solid in all the other events.
This was the one event he was really worried about, though. Look at the way he's favouring one arm. He's got a slight biceps tear in that right arm of his, so he's actually pulling it to his left shoulder, and he's a right-armed man, and that's a little strange.
And if anybody's sitting at home wondering why all this sticky stuff is on the ball and on the arms, I think you can see this well from this angle here. It's that initial lift, which is so difficult. He's rolling it up his t-shirt, which is covered in this this Venice Terps, isn't it? It's a mixture of turpentine and resin, but it's so important.
Yeah, the circumference of this stone's so huge, and it's really quite slippy. You need that sticky stuff. Now, he's on 5 reps here. Just 5 seconds to go, though.
Is he going to make 6? Yes, he does. He gets 6 right on the button. But he's in second place. 6 reps in total. A tremendous effort.
That pain when I tore the bicep, last time I pulled a stone, I was excruciating pain, so trying to forget about that is very difficult.
So Nick Best playing to the crowd a little bit. He's in second place overall behind Derek Poundstone. Wonder if he'll have a little bit of a problem with this event because of the shoulder problem. Well, he's having a chat there with the referee, Bill Linden, just telling him he may have a problem getting the stone right up onto the top of his shoulder. Bill Linden, just in the foreground there, former finalist in World's Strongest Man. So a slightly tentative Nick Best about to get underway. Here we go. Well, that didn't look too bad, Colin. A little bit gruesome at the top, but it was okay.
Yeah, he's kind of leaning back almost. I don't think he's doing it, getting it fully onto his shoulder.
Well, we're going to have to supply all these guys with new T-shirts at the end of this. I wouldn't fancy trying to wash them after all that glue has been on their shirts and their shorts and their knees and everywhere, really.
Well, the first two were slow, but he's getting into a rhythm now. Perhaps he's just getting used to the pain here. Still 25 seconds to go.
Well, maybe he's warming up. This is looking good. 5 reps. Can he do 6? Can he do 7? He's too late for 8, I think, but this is looking good.
He's got 6, 10 seconds. He could equal the lead.
He's got it. A brilliant performance there by Nick Best. Well done.
Well, 7 reps, that's surprising. His first few were really quite slow, and he just accelerated away.
He's spinning there, and
So Nick Best gets a share of another win. Frankie Skeen and Warwick Brandt matching his 7 reps, and those two men very close in the battle for the title of Southern Hemisphere's strongest man. The overall scores still have Poundstone on top with a commanding lead, but Best could still steal the win if he puts in a big performance in the final event. The battle for third, meanwhile, extremely close between Skeen and Brandt. Just one event to go now. Join us after the break here in Melbourne for the big decider, the medley. Welcome back to Giants Live in Melbourne, where 3 men will be getting an invite to the World's Strongest Man contest. Who will be coming to China for the World Finals? Back to Colin Bryce for the decider.
Final event here at the FedEx, and it's the medley. 4 barrels have to be loaded up onto a platform 8 meters away. 127 kilos, the first 2, the little ones, then this big, awkward 120-kilo barrel, and then this monster, 3/4 full of water, sloshing around 120 kilos. Now, Warwick in 4th place on the cusp of qualifying for Worlds. Tell me, does this event suit you?
It's not a great event for someone my size, a bit shorter. But you know what, I've been in this position many times before, and I'm desperate to get back to Worlds, so I'll do what it takes.
So here we go. The overall situation means that Warwick Brandt has to beat Frankie Skeen by 2 clear places if he wants to make the trip. Well, the early starters, we saw Tristan O'Brien, 3 barrels in 37.9. Jordan Steffens was a little bit slower. He struggled all the way through. Even LaRue was quicker, though, 3 barrels in 31.27. And Jack McIntosh sped down the course, 3 in 27.49. That was ahead of even Gerard van Staten, 28.77. And this is what is up for grabs, the overall trophy here in Melbourne. And Warwick Brandt now has to go strong, has to go quick, because this man, Frankie Skeen, at the minute is in pole position, should we say. Derek Poundstone and Nick Best in 1st and 2nd place. This is the battle for 3rd, and Warwick gets away quickest.
It's the battle for the Southern Hemisphere's strongest man title as well, and Brandt right now looks like he's ahead of Skeen, and as you said before, Paul, he needs 2 clear places ahead of Skeen, so just beating him isn't enough.
Oh, this is fascinating stuff. It's going to be quick, that's for sure. This is the 3rd barrel. Now Frankie Skeen is catching him.
He is. I think he got that 3rd one on just a fraction ahead. Now no one's done the 4th. This could be a huge one if Brandt could do it.
Well, it's 120 kilograms, 264 pounds, and it looks as though Warwick Brandt is not going to do it. It's partially full of water as well, and that is a problem for all of the guys.
Well, at this event last year, the only two men to do it were Jenkins and Burke from the USA. They were two 2-meter tall men. And I'm not sure either of these men have the arm span just to hold on to the barrel and get it up.
Well, if the situation remains the same, Frankie Skeen is the man who's going to make it through to the world's strongest man competition. And Frankie Skeen has done it. 26.71 for 3 barrels, compared with Warwick Brand, 27.27. That was a remarkable finish. For 3/4 of that event, it looked as though Warwick Brand was the guy who was going to go through, but Frankie Skeen has done it now. Can Derek Poundstone hang on to his advantage over the very popular Nick Best? What a way to finish the contest.
Well, Best needs to put in a sterling performance here, perhaps put on that 4th barrel, and hope that Poundstone, with that little biceps injury, goes slowly, but it doesn't look like it's happening right now. Poundstone jet-propelled to the first one and the second. It's got to be upright.
Well, that gave Nick Best a little bit of an advantage there. You know, the smallest things can make the biggest difference in this competition.
Around about 23 seconds, both of them for the 3rd. Best get this final one up. He's going to give it a go. Poundstone might not even bother now.
Well, you could forgive Derek Poundstone for giving up the ghost, but he's not doing it, you know.
Well, he knows that Mike Jenkins and Mike Burke did it last year. Now he's walked away now, grabbing his bicep. He's nowhere near as tall as those two guys. Best is a tall man, though, but can't get his grip.
But Derek Poundstone is going to give it a go. This is fantastic. Just short of the platform. Now, can Derek Poundstone or can Nick Best, can either of them get this giant contraption up onto the platform? Not quite. Oh, it's so close. But Derek Poundstone and Nick Best have really put on a show here. That was the fastest time for 3 objects. Nick Best gets the 2nd fastest time as well. And it was only the big barrel that beat these 2 big men.
Derek, congratulations. You won just about every single event. Despite being in haggard condition, you're the world's strongest man again, champion of FedEx. Big question is, can you win the world's strongest man?
That's been the question for years. Just a reminder, I haven't won a professional competition since 2010. I've had a rough couple years. I guess the key is to be injured. I'm better when I'm beaten up and sore, and unfortunately I haven't been the strongest man on that day in my last 5 times out, so 6 times a charm perhaps, who knows.
Here's the loading race result. That last barrel proving a problem to absolutely everybody, but it was Derek Poundstone who got the best of the rest. Nick Best in 2nd, Frankie Skeen in 3rd. And that means the South African does make the trip to China. And he's also the Southern Hemisphere champion as well. Nick Best in 2nd, and Derek Poundstone is the winner. So Nick Best coming up to the FedEx organizer, Tony Doherty, to receive his trophy as the runner-up. What a contest it has been, but Derek Poundstone, undoubtedly the winner here. He's been absolutely dominant throughout. Derek Poundstone on his way to World's Strongest Man again, along with the oldest man in the contest. As we look back at some of the highlights, it really has been a great tussle. Thrills and spills of strongman once more.
So the first 3 finalists are in. Frankie Skeen, Nick Best and Derek Poundstone booking their places here in Sanya. And Derek Poundstone, Supercop himself, looking right back in form. Well, next up, the Giants Live Tour will take us north, way north, to Budapest in Hungary to see who the next 3 finalists will be. Make sure you join us then.